beyond the stars. Shalom Adonai. In these first videos of this series, we were told how the Creator created time. If you are just arriving, go back to the first video so you can understand this one. The Earth is a clock. So there are three Earths here. The first Earth, the second Earth, and we are on the third Earth. Who shows this? The Moon. The Moon is the faithful witness of Father. We know that the numbers are the constellations, and the clock pointers are the Sun and the Moon. That would be here. The numbers are the constellations, the larger hands in the Moon, and the smaller hand in the Sun. So the Earth is a clock. When the first Earth began, the sky was red. There was no water, and the door to heaven was open. In the red sky, there is no sun, moon, or stars. It is a diffuse magnetic field. It has no focal point. It's diffuse and spreads out. You only have a focal point, sun, moon, and stars in the blue sky, which is in the first Earth was below. As we can see in the image, here are the primordial waters. Here you have the foundation of the Earth, and the Earth is inside a cube. So, the light from the first cube was red. It was just like you can see in the image. On the first Earth, the cube looked like this. The Earth was red. On the first Earth, the zodiac will start in Libra. The pointer will start in Libra, so you can understand. The zodiac was placed on the first Earth at the bottom. I will give you an explanation so you can understand better. This is no magnetic field. On half magnetic field explodes up and down. So you have something underneath. It would be the Earth with a blue sky underneath that help you understand this image will be used. The magnetic field above is red sky, and the magnetic field below is blue sky. And this is what you see here. So much up on the internet. So you have the up on the internet. So you have the up on the internet. So you have the Earth below. But to make it clear, there is no one living here. Only people and objects brought here to portals that will be explained in another video. And you will have an understanding because in the spiritual agreement, they have to show you this, and they have already shown it. So, when time began, here it had 54 hours, and the zodiac will be in Libra. When it begins in Libra, the sun will rise, that which is what we call the era, 864 years. So these 864 years represent 12 degrees in the zodiac. Then the sun will rise in Virgo and stay for 2592 years, which represent 36 degrees in the zodiac. Just so you understand. When it reaches Leo, Leo is ratchet. The sun will rise in 2448 years, which represents 34 degrees in the zodiac. So in the first Earth, if you add 12 plus 36 plus 34 equal 82 degrees, the first Earth was 82 degrees, which is from Libra to Leo. Here the sun traveled to the end, which is the ratchet. Because with the ratchet, we discovered that the ratchet is at the end of the Leo. And the zodiac comes from Libra. The ratchet is at the end of the Leo. That's what causes magnetic inversion. But if the zodiac comes from the other side when it reaches the Leo, the cataclysm will happen. Leo and Aquarius are ratchet. Where it's shown, the Sphinx in the Egyptian desert, with the head of a man and the body of a lion. The face represents Aquarius, and the lion is represented by the body of the Sphinx. You can see how they show you everything. And the Sphinx, with the body of a lion and the face of human, is perfectly aligned with the turnstile. I will make another video explaining this in the firmament. This knowledge is not Egyptian but Atlantean, because they studied magnetic field a lot. So going back to what happened, when they arrived 4 years before the first cataclysm here in Liu, what started to happen was that they start to see the sky blue. Just like what is happening now that we are already seeing the sky red. They saw the sky blue. And these angels who were here didn't know it was blue sky because they never had seen it. They were taken by surprise because the ancient serpent fell 400 years before the first inversion. But then you ask me, how you know that? Let me show you something. This photograph here is from a book and it's showing you the entire firmament. There the internal lines show you the first, the second and third Earth. Not cause you do not have the book that does not stop it from being true. There are certain books that the people do not have, but they are ancient books. And this book explains this knowledge. That is the ancient knowledge of the prophet Daniel. And a book explains the firmament and the constellations that exist on Earth. So you don't think I'm just making it out of my head. This is a very deep, this is a message from the chosen ones who will return to Heavenly Father. This is not from those who are trapped in doctrines of men. The ancient serpent falls here 400 years before along with 1/3 of the angels, and then they begin to see the sky on the horizon starting turning blue. As we can see already today, the sky starting to turn red. It's appearing in the partner of 400 years before the inversion. There will be videos explaining what blue skies and red skies are here on the channel so that later you can clear up your doubts. Therefore, when the ancient serpent is expelled from the sky and it falls here through the passage of the gates of the constellation of Orion by the star Betelgeuse, which is the entrance of the red sky. Then they fell through Betelgeuse, and as they fell here, the pattern of 100 years began, and then the pattern of 120 years, 70 years, 7 years, and 7 days will arrive when you will have the 3 days of darkness that's mentioned in the scriptures. When Jonah stayed 3 days and 3 nights inside the big fish, also mentioned in the Messiah 3 days and 3 nights. This is always shown to you. The scriptures always show the reference to the 3 days of darkness. In the first land, there was no water. In these 7 years before the inversion, water started to appear. The sea will start to appear, so much so that they were scared because it is a gigantic change. In our inversion, the water will begin to disappear. In their inversion, the water will begin to appear. Then the Creator will place the blue sky above and the red sky below, and we reduce 1/3 of the zodiac. Why? Because 1/3 of the angels fell, and the stars are the angels, and they fell with the ancient serpent. So with the 30 days of darkness, 1/3 of the firmament and also 1/3 of the earth were removed. What is this image? The red sky was above and the blue sky below. He will freeze 1/3 of the earth, and he will change the red sky to blue above. Now the question is, why did he freeze 1/3 of the earth? You will understand now. The earth is a clock. If you increase the temperature of a quartz clock, it stops, and to make it work again, you have to cool it down. So how did the Creator do this on Earth? In the first inversion, the Creator hit the central sun, and with this hitting, he hit the watch face, which is made of quartz. So, what happened were the 30 days of darkness? For the Creator to make the earth work again, he had to freeze 1/3 of the earth. So he freezes 1/3 of the earth for the watch to work again. The Creator is tremendous, isn't he? I'm amazed by the things of the Creator. So he froze 1/3 of the earth into snow, removed 1/3 of the thread, cause the ancient serpent had been through to the earth. And started the clock again. He freezes the earth to cool the clock display so the earth can work again. This is what the U-shaped moon is showing you today, that another third will go under the ice and darkness. And it is also the tsunami clock. So you are understanding. Now the second earth will begin. The second earth begins in Leo. You remember that you heard the cataclysm occurred at the end of the constellation of era of Leo, so the sun stayed here for 2448 years in this constellation. When it began? After 3 days of darkness. Pay attention. When there was the cataclysm, there was here, at the end of the constellation of Leo, the sun rose there 2448 years. After the second clock began, the sun only rose in Leo 1440 years. It will only rise in Leo 1440 years, and this era of Leo is 2448 years. And when the clock of the second earth is turned on, and the sun walked only 1440 years. And then it goes to the constellation of Virgo. So what this represents was that 1448 years was the turn that the firmament gave in the magnetic inversion. So the firmament kept spinning. Can you imagine the destruction that you hear? You can see the zodiac is perfect as the Creator does everything in perfection. There is no way that this is an invention. All this in the firmament. Just like a photo that is already taken and printed, you can't add to it. We have no way of inventing things. With astronomy, that is what I want you to understand. Arriving in the constellation of Virgo, the sun will rise there for 2592 years, and then it will rise in Libra for 1872 years. As in the first Earth, the sun only rising there for 864 years, in this time 1872 years. We know that the constellation of Libra represents 1872 years. When it reaches the constellation of Scorpio, it will also rise 1872 years. And when it reaches the constellation of Sagittarius, that's when you will be able to understand. Look how beautiful is it. The problem that the ancient serpent had. This is a calendar celestial war. So when it reaches Sagittarius, the sun will rise 720 years and will be 20 degrees of the zodiac of Leo, 36 of Libra, 26 of Scorpio, and 10 degrees of in Sagittarius. Then it made a quick turn of 72 degrees, which created 30 minutes, which are in the 30 minutes of revelation. Will they not stay there for 30 minutes in silence in the revelation? Cause the Creator will fix those 30 minutes of the second clock. That is it. Of the second earth, you are managing to understand the puzzle of everything that is in the scriptures. If you interpret that the earth is like a clock, you will be able to interpret the scriptures in a deeper and simple way at the same time. So that is why in the apocalypse there is 30 minutes of silence that almost no one can explain to you, which it's fixing of the 72 degrees. Why is the 72 degrees show? Because the earth will rotate 30 minutes, which represents 72 degrees. And why it rotates this way? I will explain to you. Pay attention to this image. Here is the map of the earth, of the moon. Here is the third earth, and here are the lands beyond our dome that are frozen. No one lives here yet. The black line is imaginary. It is in the sky. It is the line of Capricorn. And everywhere, pay close attention, because I want you to understand what is happening, how it is in heaven, on earth. Remember the verse. So, here in the image, this black line is Capricorn. There is this line in the firmament and on earth. What is on earth? On earth will be the earth column, 30 degrees south and 30 degrees north. Will be the line of Cancer, which is in dark. Red, the image which will be the constellation opposite the Capricorn, as I show you in the image Capricorn opposite Cancer. So, you have the Cancer line where the wedding of Lamb will be held for those who are raptured. This rapture will participate the 3rd years of the feast of the wedding of the Lamb in heaven. So don't miss the rapture. The rapture is in the firmament, heaven. So this line is Cancer, and this line is Capricorn. The fallen angels have these lines as the death line. Why death line? Because they place the Polaris, which is the door of the heaven. When the firmament reaches this Capricorn line, it places the Polaris star in the center, because the Polaris star is the gate of heaven. For you to understand this, in this image here, when it reaches the Capricorn line, it opens the door to heaven, and Ion is created here inside. Look at the image inside this cycle. The fallen angels knew that the door to heaven would open and the Creator would come here to earth. So they didn't want this because we are in the celestial war. So what the ancient serpent did? He started building the pyramid. He built 2 crystal pyramids. One is in the Bermuda Triangle and the other is in the bottom of the Sea of Japan. Pay attention. It makes a 72 degrees turn in the firmament, and the firmament will start in Aquarius, and a gigantic destruction of the earth as well. But they manage to go through the inversion, and the earth starts again in Aquarius. Before continuing, I want to show you something. Our situation today is the same as on the second earth, because I'm saying this. This one is the image of your watch. Look, we already know that it starts in Taurus, Aries, Pisces, Aquarius, and Capricorn. On September 23, 2017, in the sign of Apocalypse 12, we completed 6,000 years in 2017, and now we will be in the transition of 21 years to enter the constellation of Aquarius, to be continued on second part. Shalom Adonai.